Hello, my name is Ashley Ferraro and I will be your child's teacher this year. My current name is Ferraro, but I'm actually in the process of changing my name to Miss Carraro. When that happens, everything will just switch over, but I will go by both, so no stress, no worries. A little bit about myself is that I graduated from the University of Virginia. I got my bachelor's degree in math and I got my master's in teaching. I also graduated from West Springfield many moons ago, class of 2010. So I have been through it all, I suppose, and that was back when the school wasn't so pretty. Not that we really get to experience that right now from where we are, but hopefully we'll get back in there soon enough. I have two dogs. They are super adorable. They're both mini golden doodles. I love to bake in my spare time, cookies, cakes, all of the above. And I absolutely love teaching. It is my passion. It is what I've wanted to do forever and ever. So I'm really excited for this school year. I love to learn. So this summer I did plenty of learning trying to get ready for this coming school year. And so I learned a lot, but I know that I'm guaranteed to make mistakes too, but I'm always going to be doing my best for your students this year. All right, so I'm going to get into the specifics about Algebra 2. Our course overview is this year we're going to have an extra emphasis on functions. So throughout the year we're going to talk about absolute value functions a little bit, quadratic functions, exponential, logarithm, rational, radical. We'll get into all of that and how they all connect to each other. And the real focus is going to be on what are the relationships between those types of functions, what are the things that are similar, and what are the things that are different, and why do we care about all of these things. And we're really going to focus on these essential skills. So we've sort of pared down from what we would cover in a normal school year, just because we have a little bit less time, right? We don't have the Mondays as a full-on teaching day. We've got a little bit less there. And so we've really focused on what are the skills that people need in Algebra 2 in order to be successful in their next year of math, whether that's discrete math or pre-calculus honors. We're going to leave all of that open, so we're going to give the essential skills that they're going to need. For grading, we've got two main categories. We have assessments, which is anything where I'm grading on mastery of math material. So that could look like a test in Schoology, it could look like a quiz, it could be a math space, and it could be a Desmos activity. And Desmos is one of those awesome digital tools that I really hope you give consent for us to use by filling out that form, little plug. But those won't all be weighted the same, right? So those are different activities that we're going to give, different assessments, but the assessment category is going to be 90%. So most of the grade this year will be on assessing mastery of math. The practice category is only 10% of the final grade, and that's going to look like activities where I want students to put in that effort, maybe struggle a little bit, but I'm not going to be assessing on the mastery of math yet, because practice is where we want them to struggle a little bit, do a little bit more digging, maybe go a little bit deeper into some of the material, and I'm not quite ready to say, do you know it right now? But practice is still important, which is why we're giving it that grade. Late work is going to be based on how late it is. So if something is turned in within a week of the due date, it'll be docked 10%. And if something is due anytime after that first week, it'll be docked 20%. And I'll collect late work up until the semester because I really care about it being done, period, right? Even if it's late, I want students to do the work. Your most accurate grade is going to be in SIS. So even though Schoology has a grading system, and I'll try to keep them fairly lined up, the actual accurate grade that we look at is going to be in SIS. Asynchronous work is going to be all that Monday time. So every week I'll have some asynchronous work. It'll be an assessment each week, and that'll be due at midnight, 11:59 on Mondays. And that's really just for consistency's sake, but it's also to give that extra time to finish something up. So hopefully we'll have time during class to start some of these assessments, but really the Monday time is to sort of wrap it up, and also if they need a little bit extra time, they can get that little bit of extra time. They don't have to finish everything immediately. I know that life is crazy right now, and I'm trying to be a little bit more flexible and allow for that sort of processing time. And my expectations for students. I would love for them all to attend class, and that might look a little bit different this year. So it could be these synchronous lessons, but if life gets in the way, something crazy happens, I get it, and I just want them to watch the recording later, and I'll show how to do that in Schoology. I expect all of my students to complete every assignment I give them. I am not a fan of just busy work stuff that doesn't really matter. So if I'm giving an assignment, I want my students to do it. There's a point to it. It's either for assessing, it's for feedback for me to know where I need to do a little bit more explaining, digging, get a little bit more rigor in there, or it's a check-in, right? And I want all my students to do that so that I can see where they are. I also expect all of my students to be respectful and kind. Last week we did a little activity where they came up with class agreements, and like every other student was saying, I just want everybody to be respectful, I want everybody to be kind, and that comes first and foremost. If we can all be kind to each other and respect each other's opinions, then we can do a little bit better math, we can get a little bit deeper, we can take those risks because they're not afraid of what somebody else is going to say, they're not afraid to struggle. And that ties right into asking for help. I am not a scary person, and so I would hope that all of my students can reach out to me either in the chat during class or in one of my checks for understanding or via email. I'm happy to hear from them whatever way that is. And I'll have my office hours Monday morning, which might look different depending on the week, but I'm always willing to talk with my students and meet with my students so that I can make sure that everybody understands. The only materials that we'll need for this class are a notebook that is purely designated for this class, so not like a binder with a bunch of paper stuffed in it, but a spiral or a composition notebook would be perfect, and then a laptop. And the school laptop is fine. If your child has their own personal laptop and that's what they prefer to use, that is totally fine as well. How my Schoology page is set up, how you can navigate it. Now I know this says first period. All of my Algebra 2 classes are arranged the same way, so don't worry about that. So the first thing is you can contact me by clicking on this little button that says Contact Me. That will open up an email that you can just shoot out right away that goes straight to my inbox. And I do ask that you give me about 24 hours during the weekdays or about 48 hours over the weekends just for me to respond. And I will always respond to my emails as quickly as possible. Even if the answer is, I'm not quite sure right now, let me get back to you, I will always respond. The other thing that I want to draw your attention to is this weekly plan button. So if you click on that, you can go and see what we're working on every week. So we plan for the week. You can see what happened on Tuesday and Wednesday, what happened on Thursday or Friday, and then what homework is due on that following Monday, and what kind of assessment it is. So you could click on that probably. I'm not quite sure what parent access gets you because we're still learning this whole Schoology thing. The last thing I wanted to show you is Collaborate Ultra. So if our students were to miss a day, they couldn't make the synchronous session because they were sick, they had an appointment, whatever reason, they slept in, I totally get it. And so I do post all of the recordings. It is a little bit tricky to navigate, so I just want to show you where that is. And of course it takes a second to load. Internet fun. So we're going to click on this menu button. So that's those 3 lines at the top of the Collaborate Ultra section. And then we can click on recordings. And I do try to go back and rename every recording so that it's really clear when this was from. The date will always be there, but we can see Unit 1, Week 1, Day 1, Day 2, and then what just happened this morning. So that is a little bit about me and a little bit about this class. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope to hear from you soon. Have a great year.